Good evening, you're watching News Mongolian World. I'm your host, Tamer Kampatar. In for top stories, National Workshop on Effective Governance for Sustainable Development kicks off. The negotiation about maritime safety organized. And this year, the Playtime Festival will be held as an eco-friendly event with zero waste. And for the news, stay tuned. The National Workshop on Effective Governance for Sustainable Development in Mongolia kicked off on June 8th at the National Academy of Governance. The workshop is organized by the National Academy of Governance of the Government of Mongolia and Mongolia, Mongolia's national news agency, in collaboration with the United Nations Department for Economic and Social Affairs through its Division for Public Institutions and Digital Government and Project Office on Governance, and with the support of the UN Resident Coordinator Office in Mongolia and United Nations Development Program in Mongolia.
The participants are also discussing specific topics in small groups and exchange ideas and information on practical examples and lessons learned from other countries to see if and how good international practices can inspire similar action at the national and local levels. While Mongolia has indeed implemented several projects and programs in collaboration with the United Nations to address various challenges and promote development, it is evident that more effort is required to ensure effective governance in Mongolia. The National Workshop encompasses a wide range of discussions on how we can collaborate to achieve effective governance and the importance of aligning our effort with governance.
We want to have Mongolia as a leading country achieving inclusive and sustainable development, the SDGs, and Mongolia's Vision 2050. The key to be able to achieve sustainable development, the key pillar for enabling that institution of sustainable development to happen is governance. Effective governance, which means efficiency, effectiveness and transparency in the way we govern this country. And that's where, with the National Academy of Governance, we're working to create, with all support from UN agencies, the UN, DESA and POG, to be able to create an enabling environment to have all the people who are working in the different facets of governance to come across and help them update and upgrade their knowledge and skills, and to create an action plan how to make governance more effective for Mongolia. The key to this workshop is that there are three facets to this. The first facet was to train some of the faculty members to be trainers for this workshop so that we can help them to build capacity even further. Second part is this main workshop where they will be looking at different aspects of governance to help them to really enhance their capacity for enabling effective governance for Mongolia, and we end with an action plan that will be presented. And the third part is to help our media and communication people with the leadership of Monsame to work on disaster risk communication. So these are the three parts in this workshop. Now we are beginning the second part today, which is the main workshop of 3-day workshop on this.
Mr. Zhu Wanzhu, the Director of the Division for Public Institutions and Digital Government, United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, made the opening remarks that achieving the 2030 Agenda and Mongolia's long-term development policy Vision 2050 is a collective endeavor. On June 9th, Mongolia will present its second voluntary national review on the implementation of SDGs at the United Nations. Out of the 154 indicators of the UN SDGs, Mongolia has made changes to 84 of them. The country has set a target to achieve 32 goals by 2040, while 36 goals should be intensified and 16 goals have suffered setbacks. Unfortunately, Mongolia received the lowest rating for SDG 1, no poverty during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. This indicates that the country faced significant challenges in addressing poverty during that time. Mongolia's voluntary national review on SDGs implementation will include reports on how the COVID-19 pandemic, geopolitical conflicts, and rural area development have impacted the progress towards achieving SDGs. Furthermore, Mongolia will report on its SDG progress during the United Nations High-Level Forum scheduled for July 2023. Mongolia presented its first VNR in 2019. These workshops will take place until June 13.
In 2019, a decision was taken that the 23rd meeting will be organized in Mongolia during the 20th session of the Asia-Pacific Heads of Maritime Safety Agencies Forum. The Mongolian Maritime Administration is organizing the meeting in Sydney from the 5th to 8th of June with the Australian Maritime Safety Authority.
The Asia-Pacific region plays an important role in the sector of ocean transport. Therefore, the meeting was widely attended by international representatives.
And of course, Mongolia, people say, is a landlocked state, but like every state, they have the right to have a flag and to have a registry. And of course, shipping is vitally important to everyone in the world. So really happy to be working with Mongolia. They certainly have got quite a large registry. And really happy to have a meeting with the administration, the Maritime Administration of Mongolia earlier today, and discuss with them what they're doing to improve safety of the fleet. And of course, this is what all of us here at the Asia Pacific Heads of Maritime Safety Agencies are about. We're about safe ships, clean ships, and how we can make the seas and the waters safer. And again, I heard today that Mongolia has significant inland waterways as well. And people can die on inland waterways just as well as they can on the ocean. So again, the safety of those vessels are really important to the citizens of the country. Having a global trade network that's efficient and safe is important, and very happy to be working with Mongolia.
Oton Surung, Chief Executive Officer of the Mongolian Maritime Administration, said that to implement the UN's Sustainable Development Goals and the International Maritime Organization's 2030 goals, we need to discuss the following topics at this meeting. Asia-Pacific Maritime Safety Executive Council strategic objectives, which are regional cooperation, protection of the marine environment, safety at sea, and welfare of seafarers, maritime accident response, and women in the maritime industry.
We are working on the project to establish National Maritime Company, to own national ship, and to export Mongolian consumer products to third neighbor countries in the future. Therefore, currently the registration and assessment of ships are ongoing. In addition, we make sure that ships adhere to safety standards and are not engaged in illegal activities prohibited by international agreements and conventions.
During the meeting, the Mongolian Maritime Administration introduced the presentation. It consisted of three main parts: measures taken by Mongolia to develop a maritime sector, the participation of landlocked Mongolia in protecting the ocean environment, and the participation of women. The ocean is responsible for the transport of 90% of world trade. In addition, it produces 50% of the total oxygen and absorbs 90% of the heat produced by carbon dioxide that affects global warming. Therefore, protection of ocean environment becomes an emerging issue even to landlocked countries like Mongolia that are affected by desertification.
The Playtime 2023 Music Festival is set to take place at the Mongolian Chikhtke from the July 6th to 8th. With great anticipation, over 170 foreign and domestic groups and artists are preparing to captivate audiences with their performances across the festival's impressive array of 10 stages. Additionally, strategic partner organizations will contribute an extra 4 stages, bringing the total to 14 stages of artistic expression and cultural celebration.
The Playtime Festival, organized since 2002, is an art festival with a mission to transform the mindset and attitudes of young individuals through contemporary music while propelling Ulaanbaatar to the forefront of global development. According to the organizers, the festival invokes great anticipation among young people.
The biggest disadvantage of music festivals is the abundance of waste generated. Therefore, in line with our commitment to social responsibility and our objective of becoming an environmentally friendly and sustainable music festival, we are dedicated to waste reduction efforts.
Our company goes beyond selling water and drinks. We actively implement environmentally friendly programs. One of our key initiatives focuses on combating plastic waste through recycling. As part of our commitment, we will deliver presentations during the Playtime Festival, educating and empowering young participants on how they can contribute to this cause.
The personnel of the police station and the regular police are diligently planning their operations, prioritizing the safety of both spectators and organizers, while actively preventing any criminal activities or violations.
The festival will be held over 3 days with the participation of over 200 artists and collaborating organizations. Notably, this year's event will encompass a wide range of programs focusing on personal development, promoting a healthy lifestyle, exploring psychology, prioritizing health, and showcasing various crafts.
Thank you for staying with us. Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Here's the international news from our partner agencies. President Joe Biden and British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak say the US and UK will support Ukraine as long as it takes. The leaders made the remarks at a joint news conference from the White House East Room Thursday during Sunak's first visit to the White House.
The 15-month-old Russian invasion of Ukraine was high on the agenda during their talks. The US and UK are the two biggest donors to the Ukraine war effort and play a central role in a long-term effort announced last month to train and eventually equip Ukrainian pilots on F-16 fighter jets. In remarks to reporters, the two leaders reiterated their commitment to help Ukraine repel Russia's ongoing invasion, with Biden underscoring his confidence that Congress would continue to provide Ukraine funding as needed despite some hesitation among Republican leaders at the growing cost of the war for American taxpayers. Sunak's visit comes as US and British intelligence officials are still trying to sort out blame for the breaching of a major dam in southern Ukraine, which sent floodwaters gushing through towns and over farmland. Neither Washington nor London has officially accused Russia of blowing up the Kharkovka hydroelectric dam.
Here's the weather forecast of all major cities. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you next week with more news and updates. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.